Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. I know you hate that sound right there. I'm moving the camera. It makes all kinds of noise. Taking a first load over this morning because we have our big monthly meeting today. We have multiple functions. In fact, it's to the point we have functions every week. We're doing stuff. Maybe not the whole group, but at least people in the group, smaller groups, because that's the big emphasis, is to break it down and to get people activated and prepping and community and training and fellowship on a smaller scale. So we do that all the time, but this is our big monthly meeting, and it should be a good one today. I have to take a few loads over to the building that we're at, and it's going to be a good day for it because it's a little bit cooler, it's cloudy, it's been drizzly, and that's going to make it a much more pleasant experience. This is the kind of stuff that we got to be doing to get ready for what's coming. There's been a lot of talk. I saw this morning that Pinball Preparedness did a video on a very similar subject, and I'm not copying him. I had actually planned on talking about this morning also. He just beat me to it. It's funny how we think like that. Anyways, a lot of talk online of it's time to go do the thing, take back our country. Unfortunately, I don't think most people are ready and prepared for that. They're just not. It's not even that we've been caught off guard, because the American people have known this kind of stuff's going on for a long time. They've just chosen to ignore it. This cognitive dissonance has settled in pretty strong, even amongst our own circles. And we've allowed this monster, this beast, to get so big. And I'm not saying that it could never happen. I'm just saying that the best form of resistance that we have right now is to get ourselves prepared so that we're not running to them because things get bad. You know, that we're starving to death and we need food, and they say, oh, you got to have the you know what if you want to get the food. You see the thing that in the news that Joe Biden is requesting funding from Congress for a new big old batch of the you know what, and that it may come with requirements to get it. And that's mainstream news saying that. We've been warning about this for a few years now. What happens when the day comes that you can't feed your family because you don't have the proper paperwork, or you can't go to the hospital without the proper paperwork, or you can't get fuel for your vehicle, or anything like that? As far-fetched as that seems and sounds to so many people, that's how it is in some countries already. China's been that way for a while. Australia's switching over to digital currency already. The vast majority of the world is either testing or actively, switching over to digital currency. And once that happens, then they can control you. That's the papers. Oh, well, you don't have this? Well, the only way you can get this is to get this, and then so on and so forth. How you gonna resist if your family's starving to death? Your little girl and little boy's eyes, they're sitting there and they're crying and they're starving and they're hungry and they're begging for food, and your wife or your husband. It's going to be hard to resist then. So the best way that you can stand up against this evil, demonic regime, and I'm not talking about just the Biden administration, I'm talking about all of them, every single one of them, is to be in a place where you're not dependent upon them. That when they say, well, you have to have this to be able to do this, or you have to have this, and well, you have to have this, and these are required. You can say, fine, I'll just live without it. I don't need to go run to your FEMA camps to get food and protection. I can take care of myself. That's the place that we need to be getting to. And unfortunately, the vast majority of Americans aren't there at all, not even close. And if we don't get to that point, then we're never going to be at a place where, oh, it's my neighbor. I see a truck there. Thought I recognized it. Anyways, we're never going to get to a place where we can actually resist. You know, I get criticized, and I'm sure others that are doing similar things to what I'm doing on here, not just talking, but I mean behind the scenes, the things that we're actually doing. I get criticized from people saying, "Well, what are you doing? Are you standing up?" Yes, I am every day. I mean, I get on here and I've put myself out there and put a target on myself and my family. But yes, every day. Every day we're doing the things that we need to do. We're organizing people. We're encouraging people in real world situations. Just was contacted early this morning in an email from someone that had bought some property not too far from us. They'd been hoping to move here, and they finally was able to pull the plug, and so they'll be part of the community. Yes, we are doing things, and that's what you need to be doing too, because this stuff that's going on, because the reality is that why is it that the rest of the world, rest of the country seems to be asleep? Okay, ask yourself, why is it? Well, there's lots of answers, but one of the reasons is because as long as you're participating as a good little citizen, for the most part, things seem to be fairly okay, all right? And that's the reality of where we're at right now. As bad as myself and you and everyone else is talking about all this and all that, you know, this is bad. Reality is, it's just rumblings that's off in the distance. It's, you know, that storm that's moving in, right? And you hear the thunder, maybe you see the lightning flashes. I sound like an old Garth Brooks song. You see the rain pouring down in the distance. Off in the distance, maybe on the next hill over, you can start to see the trees sway. You know it's coming at you. Where you're at, it's pretty calm right now. Things are okay. You know, it's clouding up, and you can kind of feel a difference in the air temperature and all that. But overall, it's still pretty normal. That's where we're at right now, folks. You know, I've used the analogy of the tsunami. It's getting closer. You can see that tsunami wave now, I think, coming at us. But it hasn't hit yet. You know, the disaster hasn't hit. You can still go to the store and get most anything that you want. And you don't have to turn your papers over to do it. You can still go to the doctor. You know, you can still go get gasoline. You know, all these things that we don't like paying the high prices. That kind of stuff, but you can still do it. Well, that storm hasn't even hit yet, and when it hits, it's going to be disastrous. These people are flat out evil, and it's not just, you know, the Bidens and the Hillarys and the Obamas. I mean, of course they are, but I'm talking even bigger than that. They're all just evil, and their evil satanic plan is to rule over us, and is to reduce the amount of people and control us and manipulate us on a molecular level. I know I'm sounding, you know, making Alex Jones sound normal, but that's just the hard truth. That is their end goal. It may not take place next month. It may be months or even years or even a couple of decades down the road, but that is their end goal. We know that, we can see it, they tell us. And for you to not get caught up in that and not end up being a slave to that, or not finding yourself in such desperation that you have no other choice. It's either die, starve to death, a miserable death, or, you know, give in and do what they tell you to do. The only real alternative is to A, be prepared, meaning you have stuff, you have the ability, you can produce stuff, and then have a community around you. It may not be 100% guarantee that you'll be okay, but it most certainly is way better than, you know, living in your apartment in the city and not being prepared at all, and the first thing that happens, you got to go run to them to get your bottles of water and your government issued food and stuff, along with your government issued medicines and things that they put in your body. It's a much better plan if it ever gets to the point that there is actual resistance, like the kind that people stand up and they go against the other team. I've got to be careful what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying, though? The only way to do that is to be in a place where we're not tethered to them, where they're not controlled. I mean, you can't go out and fight if you're starving to death. And if you're trying to fight against the bad guys and you're starving to get death, but yet they control the food, it's not going to be a very long-lived fight. So we've got to start getting ourselves ready. That's why I've been pushing this for the last several years, of getting your houses in order. And I know some of you get tired of me saying that, but it's true, and that's why we have to do it. Because if we don't do that, we're not resisting. We'll never will resist. You can sit there and armchair quarterback it all you want and talk about how great we could do this and we should do that and this is what should happen. It's never going to happen as long as you're tethered to them. Okay, it just isn't. All I got to do is say, all right, you want to fight back? Well, you can't have any food. Now you're going to starve to death. We cut off your food supply, cut off your medicines, cut off your gasoline. I mean, in war, they know that that's one of the best ways to overcome your enemy is to cut off their supply chain. Well, they control our supply chain. So we have to take control of that into our own hands and stop allowing that to happen. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be comfortable. But it's something we have to do if you ever have any hope of resisting. It's just the most basic, simplest thing. So yes, we are doing things. A lot of us are. A lot of you are. We need to be doing more. And we need to be taking it seriously. Because that storm's coming at us. It's getting close, folks. It's getting real close. Maybe just a few weeks away. It's time to get your houses in order. Prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.